bet you can hear me now. So let's see if we can reset here. And yeah, we got sound going now. Sorry about that, folks. I was talking just a few moments ago when you couldn't hear me that we about 30 seconds till airtime, everything just disappeared. I mean, just gone. Been sitting in front of this computer now for probably 2 days watching weather, and everything's worked fine. And then just 30 seconds before airtime, everything goes away. That's the way it is. If you've spent any time in broadcast, you understand how that works. We are broadcasting live tonight also on FNN Channel 1. FNN Channel 1. Folks, if you have a big screen TV, that's the way to watch us. You can also watch us on Dr. Don's Weather on YouTube over on the big screen TV as well. Just go to the app and you can pull it up over there on that large screen television. Turn your phone sideways. Resolution's a whole lot better. You can see the graphics a whole lot better. And if you're on YouTube, lower right-hand corner, you can change the resolution to high definition so that you can really get a good look at what's going on. You see all those likes down there in the lower bottom of the screen. We need to see if we can get... bear with me just 1 second. I want to put something on the screen that'll make it a little easier to see who is liking us. I know it went white for just a second, but we're going to fix that. All right. Bear with me 1 second, and that should work. And we're going to put that box right here. Again, folks, I apologize. This is all live TV, and we're just kind of doing things as we go here. There's Matt Knight. Matt Knight likes us. There's Angie Johnson. Angie has just sent us a like. I'm pretty impressed that this actually works. This is one of the things we've been sitting here doing all day long, trying to get this stuff together. Let me see if I can, let me make one more quick adjustment here. And I want to make that, yeah, okay. All right, we're just going to leave it like that. We got to get to weather. I'm sorry. Got all discombobulated here when we lost everything right before airtime. Anyway, it is Sunday, January 14, 2024. It is 7:12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we have got a possible winter weather setup on the way for East Alabama and West Georgia, especially as you go further north. Folks, this is probably going to be a deal up there across the extreme northern counties of Alabama, across Tennessee, back. It's already a deal over in Mississippi. And up into southern Arkansas, and it may be a little bit of a deal across North Georgia. But across East Alabama and West Georgia, the bottom line here is we may have just enough of winter precipitation to be a nuisance. And I mean, we could have some slick spots on the roadways. Some of the bridges could be covered with a slight glaze of ice. I mean, we could have some travel problems across East Alabama and West Georgia. I don't want to play it down as though we're not going to have travel issues. We certainly could, but the further north and the further west you go, the better precipitation rates you're going to find. I mean, we're talking places like Hamilton, Alabama, and up there in the extreme Muscle Shoals, back over toward Huntsville, we could be looking at 2 to 4 inches of snow. I mean, that's plausible up there. Across East Alabama and West Georgia, we're not going to see that much snow. We will see perhaps a mixture of rain, sleet, and snow, and we could see some glazing on colder surfaces. And it just going to be one of those situations where we're really going to kind of have to watch this thing as it unfolds. And Jennifer, check your internet because I should be good here on this end. Everybody else hear me okay? So y'all give me a thumbs up if you hear me. If everything sounds good as far as the audio is concerned. Everything looks great on this end. So we'll wait and see if we get any thumbs up over there. Okay, so Leslie says she can hear us just fine. All right, so looking at the graph there, you see that the timing on all this between 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Now, there's ongoing winter weather right now up in extreme northwest Alabama. and northern Mississippi and Tennessee. That's not going to make it down into East Alabama and West Georgia tonight, nor is it going to happen during the day tomorrow. That will make it down into East Alabama and West Georgia late tomorrow evening, and we're going to have maybe a few hours of light winter precipitation, freezing drizzle, maybe with a snowflake mixed in here and there. It's possible. Freezing drizzle seems to be more plausible than the snow, but that's what we're looking at there in East Alabama. And we're talking about tomorrow between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Tuesday. I don't think we see it that entire time. I think the best window of opportunity is going to be right around midnight, which will be the coldest part of the night across the area. Midnight to about 6 or 7 a.m. is the window of opportunity for East Alabama and over into West Georgia. It'll be about 1 a.m. through about 8 a.m. for Georgia. And then south of the I-85 corridor, no problems anticipated at all out of this event. So you see the elevated risk for a wintry mix of freezing rain, sleet, and snow will be up there in northwest Alabama. A limited risk across central Alabama down to about northern Chambers County. And we may actually see more freezing rain down in central Alabama and southwest Alabama than we will see across East Alabama and West Georgia. And here's why, folks. This is coming off the Gulf of Mexico. It's a big low-pressure center. It's going to make landfall somewhere around Mobile Bay, Pensacola, and then it's going to trick right across southern Alabama, right across Dothan, then across probably Albany, up toward Macon, and then into South Carolina, just south of Augusta. So as that low moves northeast, it's going to be getting closer to East Alabama and West Georgia. Well, what have we got out there in the Gulf of Mexico? We have warmer temperatures, and so that low is picking up some of that warmer precipitation. It's going to push what's called a warm nose over East Alabama and West Georgia. Therefore, we won't be below freezing nearly as long as northwest Alabama, Tennessee, northern Mississippi, where the good snows are going to take place. All right, so let's take a look at some different graphics here for you. And so that is the National Weather Service graphic for the impacts. Here's the total snowfall, and this is the latest high-resolution model showing maybe, look at that, probably somewhere around 4 inches in Memphis. Back over into Arkansas, we're looking at about 4.5 inches. Maybe Nashville is looking at 5.5 to 6 inches of snow. Huntsville, probably 2.5 inches. Muscle Shoals may be up there in that 5.5 inch mark. And then as we get back over toward Gatlinburg, we're looking at about 5 inches of snow as well. Extreme northwest Georgia, northeast Alabama, Lookout Mountain up there at Mentone, Valley Head, that part of Alabama. There may be some accumulation up there, too, up to around 4 inches of snow. But you see, folks, there is absolutely zero snow accumulation expected across East Alabama and West Georgia. Could there be a light dusting north of the I-20 corridor? Yeah, certainly there could be. Up in Cherokee County, northern Calhoun, northern Cleburne, and points north, Gadsden, Jacksonville. There could be a light dusting before this is all over with, but we're not anticipating enough to cause any problems on the roadways. If there are travel problems in that part of Alabama, it's going to be from the glazing of ice. Understand, it doesn't take but just a teeny bit of ice to cause problems in the southeastern United States. And, you know, if we were to pick up 1/10 of an inch of ice, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that'll cause problems anywhere in the southeastern United States. So we'll have to watch that ice possibility as we get into this. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the computer model's expected ice output for this event. And, yeah, we're talking 1/10 of an inch up there, maybe around Gatlinburg, back down into northwest Alabama. Would expect problems up there at Sand Mountain. I would expect problems up at Mentone, up there around Fort Payne. Yeah, going to have some problems on I-59. That's where the best corridor of ice may set up this evening. And then 2/10 of an inch maybe down into the Birmingham area. And then back into Mississippi. And then look at that stuff down there in New Orleans, or just north of New Orleans and Louisiana, and back into extreme eastern Texas. They may have a pretty significant winter storm unfolding down there with a lot of ice in eastern Texas and Louisiana. But again, you'll see that we're showing maybe just a trace of ice across Talladega, maybe central Talladega County over to Clay County and up into Cleburne and Calhoun. And that's up there in the higher elevations up toward Mount Cheahaw. We certainly could see some icing in those higher elevations up there. Bottom line is this: we don't anticipate a major winter storm for East Alabama and West Georgia, but there could be just enough ice that we could see some scattered travel problems on the roadways. And this would be tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. No problems at all tonight. Not going to be any trouble tomorrow morning when you get up. Most of tomorrow is going to be perfectly fine. It's going to be warm. It's going to be well above 32. And then as the moisture picks up tomorrow afternoon, the cold air starts to rush in from the northwest. Some of this stuff could start mixing with winter precipitation, and we could see some glazing on the roadways and colder surfaces as we get into midnight, 3 a.m. Tuesday morning, not tomorrow morning. So I want to make sure you understand that. But again, folks, I don't think, and we talked about this morning on the primetime forecast, I really don't think the winter precipitation, at least for East Alabama and West Georgia, is going to be the big deal here. The big deal is going to be the absolute frigid cold temperatures that we're going to be experiencing as we move into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We're talking wind chill factors down in the single digits. Wednesday morning when you get up, temperatures will be in the mid to lower teens all across East Alabama and West Georgia. Get up there in higher elevations north of the I-20 corridor. You may be looking at some single-digit temperatures up there, maybe 8, 9 degrees. Jacksonville and north could certainly be down into the single digits on Wednesday morning, and probably we'll see the same thing again on Thursday morning. Then we'll have a little bit of a reprieve, and we have a reinforcing cold front that will be in here Friday night that's going to drop us off into the deep freeze again, and it may be even a tad bit colder than what we're going to get this time. And there may be a little bit of precipitation with the Friday night, Saturday system as well. We got to get through tomorrow and tomorrow night before we can see any real good resolution on that storm system. National alerts. Look at that, would you? Half of the southeastern United States is covered by a winter storm warning or a winter storm watch. Actually, all the watches have now turned into warnings. And the pinkish, purplish color you see there are winter weather advisories. And they stretch basically from Franklin, North Carolina, down to Helen, Georgia, all the way down to Ranburne, and then down to probably about Selma, and all the way down to Mobile. We're talking winter weather advisory, and that's going to be for the possibility of freezing drizzle, maybe a slight coating of freezing drizzle anywhere you see that purplish blue color. And then where you see the pink, that's where the winter storm warning is. And in those areas, you could see snow accumulations of 2 to 4 inches. So that's what we're looking at. And let's look at the local National Weather Service warning map, and you can see it right there. Places like Tuscaloosa, Jasper, Birmingham, Sylacauga, Anniston, up there at Gadsden, over at Rome, you're under a winter weather advisory. And then places like Dalton, Chattanooga, Huntsville, Florence, Hamilton, Tupelo, you are under a winter storm warning. Pretty good setup up there in Memphis, Tennessee. They've got the possibility of picking up some really good weather up there over the next couple of hours or so, probably looking at a snowfall rate of 2 to 4 inches before all is said and done up there in Memphis, Tennessee. Let's take a look at the models, and we'll start this at 10 o'clock tonight, and you can just kind of see the progression of the snow across Tennessee, northern Mississippi into northern Alabama, and then As we get into the daylight hours tomorrow, that snow is going to turn to freezing rain because that warm nose is going to push over the top of the snow and kind of warm things up enough in the upper levels of the atmosphere so that rain will fall to the ground as liquid and then freeze on contact. And you'll start to see that purple and red across North Alabama. Now, here it comes across northwest Alabama and even into central Alabama as we get into the overnight hours on Tuesday night. Overnight hours Monday night into Tuesday. And then by about noonish on Tuesday, this is all gone. As far as precipitation is concerned, that's all gone. And then we'll go back to partly cloudy to eventually mostly sunny skies for the next couple of days. Then that next system comes in here Friday night into Saturday. So let's look at the radar now, and we will take the radar full. I think we will take the radar full. Will we take the radar full? Well, that's not full. Stand by. We're going to figure this out here in just a minute, maybe. There we go. There we go. So this is the current radar, and you can see that there is a good bit of snow taking place now from Lexington, Kentucky, all the way through Nashville, down to Memphis, into northwest Alabama. We have a little bit of freezing rain that's taking place across central portions or north central Mississippi, and that may be causing some travel problems up there on the interstate. We'll zoom in a little bit closer. Right there at Tupelo on I-22, we could be looking at some freezing rain. Pretty good snowfall rates up there around Oxford, Mississippi, back up toward Holly Springs. And then look at Florence, Alabama, picking up some pretty good snow at this hour also. And then looking up into Tennessee, we've got snow falling at Lawrenceburg, back over toward Memphis. Forest City has got snow at this hour, Little Rock, Arkansas, and some heavier snow showers just north of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, racing toward Memphis. But that red right there is concerning because that could be some freezing rain. So travel up there on I-22 just as you cross into the Mississippi state line, probably not a good idea this evening up in northern Mississippi. We zoom out just a little bit and you can see that we don't have much of anything happening around Birmingham, though there could be a few sprinkles taking place just west of Birmingham. Our temperatures are warm enough. It's falling as all liquid at this hour. So that was a lot, and we stepped through it for you rather quickly, and was able to show you the different graphics, though, so maybe you'll have a better idea of what's going to take place. I'll tell you also, I'm getting word, and I'm just going to read this to you. This is a statement from the Randolph County Board of Education. Due to the possibility of winter precipitation that could affect road conditions, temperatures going well below freezing for an extended period of time, and wind chill factors single digits, all Randolph County schools will remain in virtual instruction through Wednesday, January 17, 2024. Schools will resume a normal in-person schedule on Thursday, January 18. Please take precautions to prepare for this winter event and extreme temperatures and stay safe. And I really think the validating reason for doing that's going to be the cold temperatures, the wind chill factors. Winds are going to be gusting about 20 to 25 out there on Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. And I'm telling you, wind chill factors are going to be close to zero across some areas of East Alabama and West Georgia. So it's going to be brutally cold. Regardless of whether you get any frozen precipitation on the roadways, it is going to be brutally cold. I'm also being told in social media that Roanoke City schools will also be virtual as well. So if you know for a fact what's going on with your school system, if you want to post it in the chat room, then we'll put it out there. But folks, understand, I have no way of verifying any of that. So if you don't know for sure and you see it in the chat room, call somebody that you can depend on to confirm that. Just because little Johnny says his school is closed, well, we'll leave it right there. Just be real careful with that. Okay, so let's go back over to the for our friends over on our other channels that are taking our feed tonight, especially over there on FNN Channel 1. We're about to go into our segment that I call the chat segment, and you're more than welcome to stay with us if you want to, but it's extremely informal. We show the chat on the screen, and we answer questions and just chit-chat back and forth with all of our viewers over there. So let's go over to, wait a minute, I got something right here. I think I might want to, I do want to show that. Hang tight with me just one second. Let me see if I can get... Let me go over here and get, I want a display capture. And I want to show you that precious little girl right there. She is down in Athens, Georgia. That is Abigail Jones, and she is watching Dr. Don on her big screen TV. How about that? That is some pretty cool stuff right there. Let's see, I believe... Yeah, there we go. That's a much better picture. How about that? Good stuff going on in Athens, Georgia. Great to have you guys watching us down there. All right, so let's go back over to the chat room. My goodness, y'all are wearing it out in the chat, too. Let me see if I can get that. Let me see if I can get something fixed here. Let's go to social media. Let me show you something right quick. Y'all were asking for a coffee cup. There it is. The link to go purchase this coffee cup is scrolling in the chat room. And then you can also go to the top of this video, and you'll find it there as well. Okay, that's what I want to move right there. Just bear with me, folks. We're trying to get this stuff set up, and this is the first time we've done this. All right, I'm going to go white there for just a minute. And we want to take that down here, right there. Let's see if we can change that color to something that looks a little bit better. Now we're talking. That looks much better. Okay, let's see here. If you're on Facebook, click on that chatrestream.io and give Restream permission to show me your username so I'll know who you are. Valley, Alabama's in the house. Good to see you, Sandra. Well, Monday was a holiday, and they are going to do virtual on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then back in person on Thursday. That's Randolph County Schools. Yeah, I've got, let's see if we can get back over there to, I've got some cameras as well. Look at there. Like we got some snow falling in Nashville now, too. Of course, radar says that it is as well. So I believe that is absolutely what's going on. There's a live look at Graceland. And you can see that it is snowing there in Memphis as well. If you look real close, you can see the snow falling against the trees there. Let me see if I can turn that submarine down just a little bit. Now then. That ding is every time somebody likes us, you hear that ding go off in the background. We appreciate everybody that's liking us. And be sure you continue to do that because that's very important. Getting a text message that says Broadway in Nashville is covered with snow this evening. All right, let's go back to the chat. Joyce Hill's watching us in Roanoke this evening. Good evening to you, Joyce. If y'all have got any questions, I know out of the corner of my eye, as I was telling you what's going to take place across East Alabama, I was seeing the whatabouts. I was seeing the whatabouts. And there's the mad Dr. Don scientist. All the whatabouts. What about Roanoke? What about Wadley? What about Frog Guy? What about Franklin? What about LaGrange? What about East Alabama and West Georgia? All those locations are in East Alabama and West Georgia. It's not going to be any different in your front yard, I promise you. See, there comes Lynette. East Alabama and West Georgia. The big story here is going to be frigid cold temperatures by the time we get to Tuesday night into Wednesday morning and again Thursday morning. Could you have a little coating of ice? Yes, you could. Could there be some problems with travel? Yes, there could be. Do we know for sure whether it's going to happen or not? No, we do not. This is going to be one of those raise those curtains back and look out the window. I was going to say open the window, but I don't think you want to do that. It's going to be bad cold outside. But you can pull the curtains back and watch out the window and see what's going to happen. Because I'm telling you, that's about the best thing you can do at this point. We don't believe there's going to be any accumulating snow or ice that would be measurable across East Alabama and West Georgia. And that's the area between I-20 and I-85 in East Alabama and West Georgia that we're talking about. Auburn, Opelika to Anniston. And from Chilton County to Noonan. Those are the areas I'm talking about when I say East Alabama and West Georgia. Don't anticipate measurable snow or ice. Could we see a glazing of ice? We could. Is that enough to cause problems in the Deep South? Absolutely it is. But that part, we're going to just kind of have to ride this thing out and see if that materializes or not. I can almost guarantee you're not going to have enough snow. If you see snow at all, it won't be enough to make a snowman or to have a snowball fight. Yeah, folks, please click on that link. If you're on Facebook and you hadn't already done so, that Restream link, you got to click on it and give Restream permission to show us your username, or I won't have a clue who you are. All it says on my end is Facebook user. Rock Mills in the house. Hey, Nancy. Tuesday and Wednesday will be virtual days for Roanoke City Schools as well. I'll be sure and make note of that. Weather predictions for Tuesday and Wednesday show a great possibility of severe cold. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Roanoke's in the house. Hey, y'all can support us too at paypal.me/DrDonWX.com. We appreciate any help you can give us. That keeps us going here on Dr. Don's Weather. It's going to be what it's going to be. Correctamundo, Sherry. I mean, I like to let you guys know as best I can what's going to happen. I think the only thing I can tell you at this point for sure is it's going to be downright nasty cold. And we could be looking at a light glazing of ice. You might see a flurry or a sleet pellet or two. But we're not looking at major accumulation out of this storm system. The low pressure is going to be way too close to East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, if that thing had taken a more southern track, we told you that last night, if it were to dive out into the Gulf and come back in around Tampa, then it's quite possible we could have seen a much different situation. Let's see if I can catch that link right quick, Neil. You're scrolling too fast. That's not your fault, though. You can't control that. I caught it, too, by the way. Oh, yeah. We got to let advertisements go first before we can see the live camera. That's with everything now. It's getting to the point where you can't even hardly go watch anything online without having to go through a million advertisements. Let's see if I can. All right, stand by. We're going to try to get this. Go over here. Why is that? Oh, I'm on the wrong link. All right, Knucklehead, get on the right link. There we go. That's Nashville, Tennessee at this hour, folks. I believe that was New York. Let's see. There we go. There's Nashville. It's buffering. Probably everybody in the world is trying to watch this thing at the same time. Well, I mean, folks who live up north are not trying to watch it, but all those folks down here in the south who love to see snow that never get to see it are all probably watching this evening. There it goes. And you can see now that Nashville's in the area where probably the heaviest snowfall will take place. Probably looks like a couple of inches on the ground already. And we'll check back on that in just a few minutes. Y'all have any questions, shoot them at me. I mean, I know the whatabouts are out there, and I think I've pretty much spelled it out for you. But if you have anything that I have not talked about that you would like answered, I'll be glad to answer that for you. Again, if you're just joining us, I think the overwhelming issue here is going to be the frigid cold temperatures. We're talking hypothermia and frostbite type weather. We're talking wind chill factors down in the single digits for sure, maybe even down to zero. And that would be, that is going to be tomorrow or Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. That's when the height of the cold will take place. Tomorrow night it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be, dangerously cold. And then during the day on Tuesday, it'll be a very, very cold rain, maybe with a little freezing rain from time to time. And then the rain, all the precipitation's probably gone by about noon on Tuesday. And then the cold front itself moves in here on Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night. And by the time you get up Wednesday morning, we're going to be like the frozen tundra. It's going to be bad cold out there with a brisk northwest wind at 20 to 25 miles per hour, pushing those wind chill factors down into the single digits, if not near zero. So I think that's going to be a much bigger deal than any precipitation we may see tomorrow evening and during the overnight tomorrow night across East Alabama and West Georgia. You're all seeing snow now up to the north, but it's going to be a minute before that precipitation gets in here and before our temperatures get cold enough across East Alabama and West Georgia to support any frozen type precipitation. So you got tomorrow. You got tomorrow to go ahead and continue with your preparations for the bitter cold. You got to make sure your pipes are protected. If you don't, you're going to be calling that plumber, and it's very expensive. You can prevent that. Make sure you got a heat lamp going in your well pump house. Make sure you cover your faucets, and as we talked about last night, them spigots. You want to undo your hose pipes. Make sure you unscrew your hose pipes and drain all the water out of them. And so that doesn't break as well. And if you got your husband in the doghouse, let him back in tomorrow night and Wednesday. It's going to be a little too cold for husbands and dogs and cats to be outside. Make sure you've got a plan for your animals. They cannot stay outside in single-digit wind chill factors. That's too cold. I don't care if they're normally outside dogs and cats. That is beyond what is normal. And so you need to make sure that you have preparations for your animals. Neil, that link it got me to the University of Mississippi, but let's see if I can find the. I don't see the camera. So you guys were asking me about the coffee cup. There it is. And you were asking me how you could go about getting the coffee cup. Well, there it is. If you'll look there on the screen over in the chat room where it says Dr. Don's Weather Store, we have the coffee cups that are available now. And folks, they're not the cheapest coffee cups you'll buy because they're not cheap coffee cups. They're real thick. They're made of good material. And part of that goes to support Dr. Don's Weather. So we invite you. I know it's not, you wouldn't ordinarily spend that much on a coffee cup. I get it. But part of that helps keep us going so we can provide weather coverage for you for East Alabama and West Georgia. So be sure and do that. We've also got T-shirts. We've got some hoodies. We got ball caps. Let me go back over to still snowing in Nashville. Let me go back over here to the merchant store. Okay. Some reason. Here we go. So that's the coffee cup. That's the ball cap. And it's embroidered, too. This is not screen print. That's embroidered. We got a sweatshirt. And we have a T-shirt. And I've also got a hoodie over there. I don't think I've got a picture of it just yet, but I'll get one for you. That's what y'all been asking for right there, and there it is. Another quick look at Graceland. It is a live shot up there in Memphis, Tennessee. Well, that's just gotten all out of whack, so we'll just go back over here. Hey, Robin, thanks for liking us. Real important you do that, folks, every chance you get. Every chance you get, you need to like us on Facebook. And share us with your friends and ask your friends to share with their friends. And that keeps us at the top of your news feed, because if you don't do that quite often, then we'll drop off your feed and you won't see us when we go live. Up to 8 inches in Gibson County, Tennessee. Yeah, that's where they had one of the tornadoes a couple of weeks ago. That's correct. Sherry, we'll get above freezing. We'll drop below freezing tomorrow night. It will be cold Tuesday morning, but I think we get above freezing during the day on Tuesday. And then the bottom falls out on us Tuesday night. We drop down into the low teens with wind chill factors around 0. Then Wednesday, it's going to be a close call Wednesday. We're going to make it up to about 33, 34 degrees on Wednesday, and then cold again Wednesday night. Thursday, we will probably make it above freezing by about 5 to 10 degrees. And same thing on Friday, and then here comes another storm system Friday night that it may bring us even colder air than what we're going to see Wednesday and Thursday, or Tuesday night, Wednesday and Thursday. It's also going to bring another threat of winter precipitation, though I don't think it's going to be, it's going to be almost identical to this one. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot to it as far as the precipitation is concerned. But it's going to be cold, bad cold. Boondocks Barbecue and Creamery is in the house up on beautiful Lake Wedowee. Let me tell you something, folks. I'm going to do a live. We're going to do a road show. This is going to happen sometime in March. We're going to let it warm up just a little bit. And we're going to come up there to Wedowee, and we're going to set up out there on the veranda. And we're going to enjoy some beautiful weather, some beautiful scenery, and some of the best food you have ever put in your mouth. And that's going to be at Boondocks Barbecue and Creamery in Wedowee coming up in March. We'll get you a date here pretty soon, so you can go ahead and mark your calendars and make your plans to be with us. The Dr. Don Road Show on the road at Boondocks Barbecue. Patricia, I don't think Roanoke sees any measurable snow. Will you see a snowflake or two? It's possible, but I don't think you get any measurable snow. Could you have a light glazing of ice in Roanoke? Yes, you could. Could that cause some problems? Yes. So we've just got to watch this and fine-tune the forecast as we go through it. And that won't be tonight. That will be tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. Make sure if you're going to be traveling during all of this that you have got supplies in your automobile in the event that you get stranded. Make sure you've got water. Make sure you've got blankets. Make sure you have extra medication with you. Make sure you have everything that you would possibly need. If you're going to be traveling north in North Alabama up in Tennessee, if you just absolutely have to, make sure you've got, snow gear. Because it's cold and snowy up there for sure. Just think about when you get in your automobile. If I get stranded, and I'm stranded in my vehicle for multiple hours, what would I possibly need? Take it with you. Think about going primitive camping. What do you take with you? I mean, you don't need a tent. you get the idea. Water, of course, would be the biggie. So make sure that you think about that before you get in your automobile. Speaking of your automobile, make sure your antifreeze is correct in your radiators so you don't have any busted radiators or frozen blocks. Make sure that you have a plan for your pets. They cannot stay outside in this type of weather. Tuesday night and Wednesday night, you're going to have a plan for your pets across East Alabama and West Georgia. Annette, I don't know for sure if you're going to get ice, but I think that's the best possibility. If you get anything at all, I think it will be a light glazing of ice. Probably not enough to bring down trees and power lines, but it may be enough to create some slick spots on the roadways, especially on bridges. So keep that in mind. But again, like I told you earlier, this is one of those deals where we're just really going to have to look out the window and see what's happening as we get into this event tomorrow night. Facebook users, please click on that link there at the bottom of the chat room that says chat.restream.io/FB. That gives Facebook or gives Restream permission to show me who you are if you're on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, you don't need to do that. But if you're on Facebook, please click that link and approve it. You're welcome, Annette. We're going to go to the top of the hour here, so we've only got just a couple of 2-3 more minutes. Let me run through this right quick and kind of recap what we think is going to happen for this event. For East Alabama and West Georgia, this is going to be tomorrow night into Tuesday morning event. And you folks that are up there, maybe along the I-20 corridor and a little bit further to the north, you could see some impact toward daybreak tomorrow morning. If you're way up there in North Alabama, Huntsville, back over toward Tupelo, Muscle Shoals, Memphis, you're getting it right now. Been snowing up there now for a couple of hours. So here are the impacts that we expect up there across northwest Alabama. We're talking wintry mix of freezing rain, sleet, and snow. Difficult travel conditions will develop with sporadic power outages. The lighter blue area from about just north of Birmingham over to Gadsden down to about Alexander City and back over toward Roanoke. We're talking about a wintry mix of mainly freezing rain and sleet. Let me say that again. A wintry mix, mainly freezing rain and sleet for East Alabama with snow possible as you get back up there toward that I-20 corridor. There could be some icy spots on the roadways, especially bridges and overpasses. Huntsville, if you're not getting snow, you're missing a great opportunity because the radar says it is. But what's probably happening, Huntsville, is the moisture is probably evaporating before it gets to the ground. But that'll change, trust me. There's enough precipitation out there. And looking back toward Tupelo, you've got some really dark blue coming your way. So that will moisten that column up, and you will eventually start seeing snow up there in Huntsville. Get on one of them drones you flying and get up there about 4,000 feet, and you'll find some snow right now because it's falling. It's just not making it down there to the ground, Matt. But the timing on all of this for East Alabama, we're talking midnight through early Tuesday morning. That is tomorrow night through Tuesday morning. And then south of the I-85 corridor, little to no impact. Trust me, I know all too well that it's too cold to fly drones right now. I think that's the most miserable I've ever been in my life, trying to get a multiple $1,000 piece of equipment back to the landing point while you're freezing to death. Is no fun. All right, so let's go back over here and take a look at the snow totals. Look at there. Huntsville, you're probably looking at about 2.5 inches of snow by the time this is all said and done. Up there at Chattanooga, a little over 3 inches. Gatlinburg, probably 5 inches. Nashville, or between 5 and 6. Tupelo, about 3.5 inches of snow. Back into Little Rock, Arkansas, probably about 4.5 inches. You see that there's no measurable snow showing up on the map for East Alabama and West Georgia. That's because we don't anticipate any measurable snow across East Alabama and West Georgia. As a matter of fact, the only places in Georgia that may see measurable snow would be up there in extreme northwest Georgia, up around Lookout Mountain. Though you folks up in Blue Ridge and Blairsville, Hiawassee, back over toward Clayton, you could see a dusting. It's just probably not going to be enough there to make snowman out of, or it'll be less than 1/2 inch or so, most likely. Now let's take a look at the ice possibilities. This could be a bigger problem for some locations. I mean, look at that right there around Chattanooga. That's a little over 1/10 of an inch of ice. That can cause problems. Same thing up there at Gatlinburg. And then as you get back down toward Birmingham, there'll be enough there to cause maybe some slick spots on the interstate, especially on bridges and roads that are less traveled. There could be problems there as well. Maybe a little small glazing across Talladega back into Cleburne, Calhoun, maybe western Clay County. This particular model is showing nothing across Randolph back over into West Georgia and even down into Chambers, Tallapoosa, and Lee. This particular model isn't showing anything. But that doesn't mean it can't happen. This is a computer telling us what it thinks is going to happen. The odds of this verifying exactly like this are 0 to none, really. And then it's telling us maybe more ice down there in South Alabama, Southwest Alabama, all the way down to Saraland, down there just north of Mobile, and then across the southern part of Mississippi right on into Louisiana. Baton Rouge may end up with some icing problems. And that stretches all the way back into eastern Texas. So that's what's expected on the ice front. Take a look at the warnings that are out there. All the pink counties are winter storm warnings. The purplish blue counties, that's a winter weather advisory, which stretches basically from about Franklin, North Carolina, down to about Helen, Georgia, and then to a point near Ranburne, down to around Selma, and then, like I said, to Mobile, and then all across southern Mississippi and Louisiana. From that pink you see up there, those are all winter storm warnings that are now in effect for the southeastern United States. So I hope that we were able to explain that to you so you got a good idea of what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. And then we'll continue to watch weather information throughout the night, and we'll be back in here first thing tomorrow morning. Probably going to do a live version of our primetime forecast in the morning, if I had to guess. So we'll just plan on going live tomorrow morning, probably be somewhere around 7 or 8 a.m., and we'll let that handle our primetime forecast. We'll have the latest information for you at that point. And again, I apologize for the rough start. This is the second time we've done Dr. Don's Weather Talk Live, and I promise you folks, 30 seconds before I hit the go live button, I lost everything. I mean, all my graphics went poof, be gone, and I was scrambling, trying to get everything put back together. I actually broke out in a sweat in this cold weather, if you can believe it. So we kind of got off to a rough start tonight. I promise it'll get better, and we'll be back in here with an AM edition of Weather Talk Live for you tomorrow morning, right here on Dr. Don's Weather. Y'all have a great evening.